or you're, smother parenting them.
Helicopter disciple maker. Hey everybody, it's Van Time with Chuck and Deb, and today we're going to talk about follow-up. So follow-up is that basic, immediate time that you spend with new believers when they receive Christ. We like to talk about the first 48 hours or even the short-term discipleship. You want to follow up with people pretty quickly. We talked about the parable of the farmer where in John 4, where he comes back and checks on the crop. Now, Paul is talking to the Thessalonians in 1 Thessalonians 2, and he talks about being a mother and a father in that discipleship relationship with them. So, what's been our experience with following people up and being spiritual parent?
I think if you're hitting the ends of the spectrum, either, just kind of love them and leave them, where you're not doing any follow-up, or you're, smother parenting them.
Helicopter disciple maker.
Yeah. Either extreme is probably not going to be healthy. So the objective is to, do a good job, recognize that you aren't the only person that's going to be discipling this person, and even if you're a great discipler, it's still better to have that person exposed to several people who are following you.
What we want to do is the best that we can to take care of people spiritually. And even in Thessalonica, Paul was only there for 3 Sabbaths, and he's able to say, hey, I parented you spiritually, and I did it well. So one of the things that we try to make sure that people do in the first 48 hours is talk to them about making Jesus the Lord of their life, to be baptized, to begin sharing their story with other people. Why is it so important to help a brand new baby Christian learn how to share their story with others?
Well, I think first off, when you realize what Jesus has done for you and you surrender your life, there's a lot of excitement involved, a lot of emotions. You want to tell everybody that you know what's happened to you, and so helping them to figure out how to explain what's happened in their life can be really helpful, so they know what to say.
Yeah. And the baptism piece is important because it really helps them solidify the decision that they made. Jesus was a genius. Something so simple that's so hard to do. You can get people to pray a prayer all day long, but when it comes to baptism, well, that's when people, they balk right there.
The reason that we're talking about immediate is because that's the example we see, like in the book of Acts. It's pretty rare where it doesn't happen almost immediately.
What other things do we want to see in follow-up? Maybe not in the first 48 hours, but in the first few weeks.
Well, the idea is to set good DNA. Because if we're telling people, hey, you can share your faith right away, you can obey Jesus right away, you can get baptized right away, then that's what they're thinking. If we, on the other hand, tell them you can't share your faith until you know more, you can't get baptized unless you go through 6 classes where we explain everything about Christianity to you, you can't, then we're hindering the spread of the gospel rather than furthering it.
And we definitely want to get them communicating with God. So that means the Word and prayer and as they're communicating with God, they're responding to Him in obedience. So those are really important things to kind of, like Deb said, to implant that DNA from the get-go.
As you've been discipling, you can figure out, how to do that. But if you have a pattern to follow that's simple, biblical, and reproducing, that makes it much easier, especially for those who aren't well seasoned or experienced making disciples. And so what you want to do is choose a way to do discipleship that's easy for anyone to do.
I think one of the funny things that we see when people are being discipled is they take on the mannerisms, the expressions. They begin to look like their disciple maker. That's not wrong. It's kind of funny. But if that person becomes just like you, well, you miss the mark of discipleship, because our aim is not for them to become like us. Our aim is for them to become like Jesus. But we need a way that we can do initial follow-up with the people that we're sharing the gospel with while we're traveling. So, what we're going to do is we're going to do van times that will address those basic things in follow-up. All right, I hope that's been helpful. If it has, pass it on to your friends. Use your social media. And if you want to subscribe, right here in the corner. And until next time, keep making disciples until there's no place left.
They took down the... Oh, no, they didn't. Make America like Texas. Make America like Texas? Or
like
make
a Facebook
like Texas?
Or like a similar like? Which one are we
like
talking
or
about?
Make them be like.